welcome to HitGuns. I'll be your technician for today. My name is Eric.
I'm Michael, and I'll be operating the camera.
Today we're looking at the G&G GR16R4. Now, some of you seem to be having a problem with this bolt. Now, what we're going to address today is how to get to it and probably troubleshoot that problem. Now, here would be the bolt. It's under this housing of this door. I'm going to give this to Michael so he can show it to you. Now, causes of breaking this bolt can be attributed to misuse. That could be acting like it's a real gun. You just have to bear in mind, people, this isn't a real gun. As much as it looks like one, as much as trouble you'll get into for one, it's not a real gun. So let's try and not use this bolt so much. The only reason you might want to use it is to get to the hop-up, which is understandable. Now, we're going to show how to get inside the bolt to help fix it if it ever should stick. Now, what we're going to do is flip the gun over, and we're going to try and access these two pins by using a punch and a hammer. Michael will zoom in on that for you. Sorry people, we can't afford zoom. Economy. Alrighty, what you want to do is take this punch and modify it a little bit so I won't be scratching up the gun. And we're going to punch out the rear pin first. Just a little bit of force. 1, 2. It's going to pop right out.
This is what the punch looks like. He put some tape on it.
Yeah, well, tape never went out of style. Anyways, here we go. What you want to do, you want to punch this pin out too, but this one doesn't come out like this one. What you want to do is just do the same thing, but you have to pull it out on the other side once you get a little bit of leeway. Careful not to go too gung-ho because you might break the bracket in order to get to it. There's a small bracket inside, it's U-shaped. The pin is actually U-shaped where an actual stop sits on top of it, where you can't pull it off. This is kind of handy, seeing as how, you lose any of these pins, then I guess what are you going to do? Now, it takes quite a bit of force, so you can use this to punch out further if you can. And it pops out about that far. That's as far as it's going to go. Don't try and force any further. You don't want to break the gun. Now the next step will be to pull the gun apart, which would be as simple as that. Comes right apart, and now you got both parts here. What you want to get to is this part right here. That should slide out. That sits on two rails. One sits on the actual bolt carrier on the arm. There's a small plastic piece holding two prongs in place right there. What you want to do in order to get that out is do this. Slide the barrel out. Here's your barrel and your hop-up. Now, as mentioned before, we want to get to the bolt, which just fell out. Causes of this can be attributed to this right here bending. These two prongs right here bending and not sitting on the rail right. Or it just might have popped out of place from playing, seeing as how you might have jostled the gun or dropped it or anything along that lines. In order to do that, what you want to do is there's two rails, as I said before, right here. There's one plastic rail right here, and there's the actual forks that sit right there on the charging handle. That makes it so you can pull back on it and access it. The other leading cause of this sticking, in particular, would be the hop-up wheel. That can be attributed to it being molded incorrectly. These prongs right here, what you can do is either take some sandpaper or a Dremel, however you feel. I recommend the sandpaper so you don't take off too much. And grind a little bit of that off. And also, another issue that can be caused by this is this wheel coming loose. It's a common problem with all M4s. Whether they be high-end, low-end, Systema, JG, they all have that same problem. This one in particular doesn't seem like it has too much problems. Nothing more than I would expect from G&G's products. Now, the simple solution to this would be putting this in place right here. What you want to do is make sure the two forks right here sit on top of that plastic charging handle. You want to make sure it sits in place like that. I want to make sure the bottom part of this snaps under this plastic part right here. There's a small rail on the inside of it. And it should just pop
So
right
it's kind of a put down and then pull up action.
Yeah, that's about what it's like.
So let me show that again.
And if you did this right, you should be able to put this in. Like that with no hassle at all. Another way to make sure that the wheel, and to troubleshoot if the wheel is rubbing against here, is if you see that the actual finish has come off when you go to pull it back after time. But that doesn't usually happen until probably about 5 or 6 times after doing it. Now, in order to reassemble the gun, it's the same order but reversed. Seeing as how this pin doesn't pop out, that goes without explaining. This, however, has to go in the left side due to the fact that it's countersunk in right here. That's made so it sits flush and that it doesn't look as aesthetically unpleasing as most cheaper guns do. Now, what we want to do is the same process. We want to take this receiver, make sure that the fake bolt catch is pushed up, or else it'll just continuously get in your way.
This is the fake bolt catch.
On a real gun, that would be what pushes the bolt forward after reloading a new magazine, but seeing as how this is an airsoft gun, yeah, not happening. Now, just slide it over. You have to lift it a little bit right here because there's a lip that the actual charging handle sits on, so it's pull straight. Now, push it all the way in until it shouldn't move anymore. Now, push in the front pin, as you see right here. You can push it in with your finger, but that would be boring now, would it? Let's use the rubber mallet. Be sure not to break your trapdoor while you did it. Don't worry, folks, I'm a professional moron. I do this every day. Now, repeat the same step with this one, but it requires a little less force. You can probably put this in with your finger. Goes right in. And that's how you access the bolt and repair it. Thank you for choosing HitGuns. Have a nice day.